Hello students, in this video lesson we will study about alloys. Now in the previous video lesson we studied about the electrolytic refining of copper, which is now removed from the syllabus, but it still remains important for future references. Then the next topic was corrosion. Now corrosion is also removed from the current syllabus. We have already done corrosion with the first chapter in detail. Now alloys are still there in the syllabus. So let us study about them. The various properties of metals like malleability, ductility, strength, hardness, resistance to corrosion, appearance, etc. can be improved by mixing other metals with it. This mixture of two or more metals is called an alloy. For example, aluminium metal is light but not strong, but an alloy of aluminium with copper, magnesium and manganese, which is called duralumin, is light as well as strong. Since duralumin is light yet strong, so it is used for making the aircraft bodies and parts, space satellites and kitchenware like pressure cookers, etc. Similarly, aluminium metal is light but not hard, but an alloy of aluminium with magnesium, which is called Magnalium, is light as well as hard. Since Magnalium alloy is light and yet very hard, it is used to make balance beams and light instruments. Alloys have properties which are different from the constituent metals. In fact, it is possible to make alloys having required properties. In some alloys, however, non-metals like carbon are also present. This will become more clear from the following examples. Now we know that iron is the most widely used metal, but it is never used in the pure form. This is because pure iron is very soft and stretches easily when hot. But when a small amount of carbon, varying from about 0.1% to 1.5% is mixed with iron, we get an alloy called steel. This alloy of iron called steel is hard and strong. It also rusts less rapidly than pure iron. The strength and other properties of steel vary with the percentage of carbon present in it. Being very hard, tough and strong, steel is used for making nails, screws, bridges and railway lines, etc. It is also used for the construction of buildings, vehicles and ships. And when iron metal is alloyed with other metals such as chromium and nickel, we get an alloy called stainless steel, which is strong, tough and does not get rust at all. This is the difference between steel and stainless steel. Since stainless steel resists corrosion, it is used for making cooking utensils, knives, scissors, tools and ornamental pieces. Stainless steel is also used for making surgical instruments and equipments for food processing industry and dairy industry. So, we can now define alloy as a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a metal and small amounts of non-metals. For example, brass is an alloy of two metals that are copper and zinc, whereas steel is an alloy of a metal and a small amount of non-metal that are iron and carbon. An alloy is prepared by mixing various metals in molten state in required proportions and then cooling their mixture to the room temperature. The alloy of a metal and a non-metal can be prepared by first melting the metal and then dissolving the non-metal in it, followed by cooling to the room temperature. Each alloy has certain useful properties. the properties of an alloy are different from the properties of the constituent metals from which it is made up of. In general, alloys are stronger than the metals from which they are made. Alloys are harder than the constituent metals. Alloys are more resistant to corrosion. They have lower melting points than the constituent metals, and they have lower electrical conductivity than pure metals. Now, some of the common alloys are duralumin or duralium, magnalium, steel, stainless steel, brass, bronze, solder, and amalgams. Duralumin and magnalium are the alloys of aluminium. Steel and stainless steel are the alloys of iron. Brass and bronze are the alloys of copper. Solder is an alloy of lead and tin, whereas amalgams are the alloys of mercury. Now we have already discussed about duralumin, which is an alloy of aluminium with copper, magnesium and manganese. We have also studied about magnalium, which is an alloy of aluminium and magnesium. And then we have studied about steel also. Steel is an alloy of iron with some amount of carbon in it. And also about stainless steel, which is an alloy of iron with chromium and nickel. Now in the next video lesson, we will discuss about brass, bronze, solder and amalgams.